All right. So I am here with Galina from Death Ingloria, and it's a pleasure to
Hi.
have you on the show. Um,
Nice.
we're going to be talking primarily about Death Ingloria 2, Death by Admin, which is the latest release, but you should probably also check out Death Ingloria 1, The Wolf on Board, just to get a full sense of the scope of the projects. Um, Also, if you're into great music with a storyline that's sort of like a progressive rock feel to it, I would say. If you have any other suggestions for reasons why people should check this out, I'm all ears.
So we create rock music, comic books, and animation, and every album is its own sci-fi story from start to finish. And every story ends with humanity being wiped out completely. So we're basically chronicling.
Yeah, it's all
What's the
good.
word? Yeah, the inglorious ways in which humanity might wipe itself out. So humanity is generally responsible for its own demise in every story, and we just explore the different ways we could possibly do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, there's probably going to be a never-ending supply of subject matter.
Yeah, well, I'm up to ideas for album 8. So we're
Okay.
only on album 2 here, but we do have storylines going up to 8. So it'll be a whole series. I'd like it to be an anime eventually. So, there's a lot going
That's
on.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm psychic. I'm not saying that. But the first album is a designer virus that's purposely let loose on the population, and it's called the Miseries, and it makes everyone so miserable that they kill themselves, which is nice. So the second album is about a young man who accidentally destroys humanity through a series of minor admin errors.
Yeah, I mean that again, I feel like I've been part of that story. Working various jobs that I've had, I've made a lot of minor admin errors that at the time I thought would be catastrophic, but
Yeah, so actually, the idea for this came because I used to be a civil servant. I worked
okay.
for the civil. I was in the court. I worked for the courts, the UK courts service, for 10 years, managing the diaries of judges and magistrates. And so that's where the idea for the album came from. And then we asked our fan base for stories about ridiculous admin errors that they'd had, and we collected all those up and wrote them into the story.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So pretty much, sorry, everything that appears in our story, which is called Death by Admin, it actually has happened to someone, either one of us or one of our fans.
well, that first, let me just say for those of you out there, based on the subject matter, the music is actually somewhat joyful. The melodies are really inspiring. The singing is fantastic. So if you're going into this thinking it's just going to be sort of a funeral dirge, that's
No.
not the case. It's the subject matter may be a little dark, or gallows humor, but but the music is beautiful. So and very much it reminded me not so much. I kept thinking about something like Flash Gordon, where it was sort of like a space opera type music that would go along with a story that had a through line. Um,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm getting a.
it's all right.
Um, so yeah, so that was really interesting, to try and sort of see the through line to the story. I mean, obviously, various catastrophic admin errors, leading to the downfall of humanity. I think that's definitely going to happen as well. So you might
Yeah.
be onto something here.
Yeah, it's there's a pretty high chance that we'll die by accident, of some kind of accident. And if anyone's ever worked for any kind of civil service or government agency, you'll know that there's the chances of anybody actually keeping tabs on the population is pretty slim, because nobody really knows what they're doing, and the left hand never speaks to the right hand, and
Yeah.
it's just pretty bad.
I've never
Yeah.
worked for the civil service in the UK, but I've been an office manager for a theater company in the US. And I would imagine that, admin errors that it's all all the bureaucracy is probably a universal thing. So
I think so. And the people, I'm not saying everyone who works in admin is just chiming it in or just what is it, dialing it in kind of
oh yeah,
thing, but
phoning it in.
phoning it in. But a lot of them are, and I was one of them. So I can only
Sure.
speak from my own example. So it's a lot of people. I mean, for me, it was like doing a job I didn't really like, and it wasn't while I was managing judges and magistrates, the bit I was actually in charge of was whether they had tea and biscuits. So if I didn't do my job, the worst thing that would happen is that a judge wouldn't have a cup of tea. And when you've got that little amount of, you know, risk, you don't really care. You don't really care, do you? You're not going to care about that.
No, no. I mean, I still don't really care that much if a judge misses out on his tea and biscuits.
No, exactly. So,
But no, I mean, I think 99% of the people I would imagine who have those jobs are doing it to as means to an end, something else. Their passion's never there. I know certainly when I worked in theater, I always had aspirations that were outside of what I was doing. I've never really met anyone who thought, gee, I can't wait to organize these spreadsheets today. That's going to be so much. But
yeah,
there's a lot of room for error.
yeah. But our character is also dragged into that idea of, it's not just about being there and doing your job. The people who you work for want you to be happy about it and want you to be involved in all the kooky office things that they do. And our character just wants left alone because he's perfectly happy. He'll do the work. He does what he's told. He does just enough work kind of not to be fired kind of thing. But that's because he's just there for the money and just to get his paycheck and leave. But he doesn't want to be sucked into any of the office shenanigans or whatever.
Sure. I mean, again, that sounds very similar. I'm having flashbacks to when I was working. And it reminds me very much of a movie called Office Space.
That is
Yeah.
exactly where I just stole that quote from. Because it's from
right.
that
It'll only
interview.
get you. It'll only get. Yeah. No, that's it. It did sound familiar, but yeah, I again, due to the fact that it seems like and I remember I read a book recently called The Pale King that David Foster Wallace wrote, and it's about an IRS auditor. So it's very much kind of about something you wouldn't think you would want to read a book about an IRS auditor, and yet he made it fascinating. So I feel like the death by admin theme on paper is not necessarily something you're going to gravitate toward, except maybe to laugh. But I found that the music really brought me in. The compositions are great. It really works well together in terms. I'll have to go back and I sort of listened to it just to listen to the songs before I realized that there was sort of a story and a through line going through. So I'll have to go back and unpack everything that's happening. But
Yeah, the difference, like, it's kind of weird. It is basically a sci-fi rock opera, right? That is. But I think when people use that term, people assume that it's more like Meatloaf, or there's like a really opera thing, or that the songs are directly only about the story, but they're not. So every song, you can easily just listen to Death Ingloria songs and never once bother with the story, because each song is really about lived events and things like that. So in this particular story, we have two storylines going ahead. Basically, it's his day job is on one story arc, and the other arc is his daydreams, because he's so bored that he daydreams about things that happened in his past, and that's where the songs are. The songs are his daydreams as he's going through this end of days scenario, basically.
yeah, well, that was what was really enjoyable, is that you can listen to the songs and enjoy them, and they stand on their own. I think now, in retrospect, and knowing that there is a through line, I kind of want to go back and listen to it again to sort of piece that together. That's why it's a great project, because it can stand on its own, but there's also something more going on for other people. And I know there's an accompanying comic book and whole sort of artwork involved with it. So
Yeah,
there are
so
a lot of
sorry, go ahead.
layers.
Yes, the comic, the way that the comics work, and both the first and second comic work the same, is that there are QR codes on the comic book pages, and when you scan them, they become animated music videos because we animate the comic for all the videos to do with the album. We don't do like live action music videos or, us in a room or any of that. And most of the time, well, we're not on it at all. So we do have a live video coming from our album launch, which was a couple of weeks ago, but that'll be very much like, like a live DVD thing with loads of extras and whatnot. It won't be like a music video. So all the artwork comes from the comic itself. Yeah. So if you see all the YouTube videos and they're all the direct artwork from the comic, and they are the pages coming to life, basically.
Gotcha. So
So
if
if you
you
want, sorry, if you want to follow the story, just read the comic,
right,
and it will get you to the story.
and where's the best place for people? Would it be Bandcamp to get the music and the artwork? Um,
Yeah, Bandcamp's the best place.
okay,
You can do it on the website. You can do it on the website. It's slightly easier to download actually. Bandcamp. That's
gotcha.
what we pay Bandcamp for, I guess. So yeah, come on over to Bandcamp. It's fun.
Yeah, so deathingloria.bandcamp.com. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. I was perusing it just before I got on this call, but
Yes,
so
our
what?
comic. Sorry, our music. Both albums don't come on CD. You can't buy a CD for Death and Gloria. You can't buy a record. It doesn't I don't own a record player or a CD player anymore, so I just didn't make them on that. So they come in comic book, digital, and ID card is what the second one comes on. Like I've got one here.
Hmm.
So this is the I. Where can I put this? There you go.
Oh yeah,
This is
yeah.
right.
I got it. You can see it.
So most of the ID cards are off the album cover. So they have a different cover here, but this one is actually my mum's because we're here with my mum. And one of the VIP bundles is that you can have your own face put on the ID card and your own name. And then because we have your likeness, we're going to draw people into the third comic. So Death and
Gotcha.
Gloria 3 will have whoever's faces we've got by the end of this album will become the characters in album 3. So you scan the QR code on the ID cards, and that takes you to a part of the website that you can only get to through the ID card scanning. And then you can download or you can stream your stuff or whatever. And on that website is also the only place you're going to be able to find the full animated comic that's every single page of the comic, not just the music videos, in one big film. And I'm getting some actors to do some voice work for me on that. But that's not available until later on in the year. But only people with these cards will have that, will be able to access that. It won't be on YouTube, it won't be anywhere else. And then we'll probably do I'd imagine we'll start doing money off gigs and stuff, get like a 20% off a show ticket or something if you've got your ID card at the door or, all those kind of things. You know
So
what I'm
is
saying?
the yes? Well, that so the album is out. Um, more singles off the album are being released, and the if they get an ID card, that will unlock other features in the future. And the plan, I guess, now that the album is out, you'll be playing gigs. Hopefully, once the lockdowns begin to lessen.
Yeah, our lockdowns are finished here now. We're completely open.
Gotcha.
So we did our album launch on the 30th of July, and then we played a comic. We've done 3 shows so far since lockdown. We've done 2 Comic Cons and our album launch show. So yeah, I think we're gonna just take it a bit. We're just gonna keep it chilled for this year because there's a lot going on. I also do a lot of live streaming, which I put on hold when I was putting out this album, just at this end bit. So when I but in September we'll be back with some live streaming. So what we do is have a sci-fi hi-fi where we talk about sci-fi with people. We argue which franchises are the best and just generally have a big chat about it. But we'll also be doing live stream gigs quite a lot with the new album stuff. So even if we're not in the same country as people, they can just join our Twitch channel or just join the mailing list and be told when our live streams come back online. And we'll be gigging once a week, I think, and then maybe doing a full band stream once a month. because
Okay.
because it's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
get everyone together. So yeah,
Sure.
so that's kind of more what we'll be worried about for the next until the end of the year.
Right.
And then in December, we for the third year in a row, we'll have our fan only show. So that's only folks we've got the mailing list, who are on our mailing list will get that, and it's live streamed as well as in the room. And it's just a party for our for us and our fans really. And it'll be the third year we've done that. So it's been good fun actually. Just
Yeah,
having a show. It's just us.
it sounds great. So if people are interested to get involved, to sign up for your mailing list, they can go to your website. I would
Yeah,
imagine there's links on Bandcamp to get to the website too.
yeah. It's deathandgloria.com. Deathandgloria.com, and Death and Gloria is two words. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's the internet. So
Yeah,
deathandgloria.com.
and there's a. Are you already working on the third album, or is that sort of you have ideas? I know you said you have ideas through eight, but
Yeah.
have you begun thinking about what the next step is, or
Yep. So I have to tell this wee story. So basically the first album I did all on my own, and I was touring alone. And it was a proof of concept, and it proved itself that it was a good concept. Album two has been about building a team now. So I've got a drummer, I've got a bass player, I've got a more writing partner, like another writing partner. So my mom is my writing partner still, and she does the script for the comic. So I do the storyline, and then she translates that into what an illustrator would understand in as a script for a comic. So all that will continue, but we've got a bigger team now, and so album three is actually we're gonna evolve it more into a graphic novel. I think it's going to be a larger graphic novel, I think, because the first one was 7 pages, the second one was 12 pages, and then we're probably going for a fuller story in the second one. So I've got a writing partner now who will novelize it, dramatize it. I don't know what the term is.
it's all good.
It's all good. So we've got a bigger team. So album three will start pretty soon, I think, because the working title is Death by Art. We kind of already know what our main characters are going to be, and we know there's going to be a lot of audience characters. Does that mean there's going to be a lot of humans in it?
Sure.
So anyone who gets their ID card will be in the third comic for sure, because there are a lot of faces in that comic. Um, so yeah, that's about as far as that's gone so far. But then we only released the second album this week, so
Yeah, no, I was just curious to see if you had but
yeah,
no,
this
it sounds great for people interested in the music, for people interested in the artwork, for combinations of both. It sounds like also there's a lot of interactive stuff for people to get involved with if you want to get an ID card and be part of the world of Death and Gloria. That's an opportunity. So it sounds like there's a lot that's currently happening and future things that are happening, and it all sounds great.
Yeah, we're kind of skirting the line between like normal rock band, and Comic Con artist basically, and that's where we've planted ourselves. So we play cons as much as we play regular rock gigs,
Well, I
and
think,
live streams.
yeah, I mean, I think in the last decade or so, there's been more of an appreciation and an interest in that line blurring. With Adult Swim sort of taking off and Rick and Morty becoming a popular show and people
Mm,
getting more into just animation. And then I think with bands like Gorillaz, that have been doing it for a long time. I think there's a lot of people who are interested. So I think you've got a lot of work to still keep doing.
mm.
But
Oh
uh,
yeah.
but I'm excited. I'm going to go back and listen to the second album again. Listen to the first album again. Wait, to hear more news about the third album. And yeah, no, it's really great. It's great music. It's great art, and it's a great combination.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
if you're
I'm
into, go on. I'm sorry.
sorry. We were planning to come to the States actually this year with the World Science Fiction Convention. But I don't think that's happening. I think it's gone online again. I think it was due to be in Washington. Was it? Yeah, maybe it was DC. Yeah, I think it
Well,
was.
what's great is if you're doing a lot of live streams on Twitch, people can see you play still, and then
Mm.
they can be involved on the mailing list. So there are a lot of opportunities for people to get into the Death and Gloria world, which sounds great. And I look forward to being checking it out myself. So so good luck with everything.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, unless there was anything else, any other news or anything, I think we
There,
pretty much covered it.
yeah, the only thing I would say is that we also have a hot sauce, which
Okay.
which
Yeah.
we only got this week, and it's called Death Insaucia. Use it as a weapon, and it's going to get put in for loads of those sauce awards and stuff. We're
Sure.
working with a sauce maker in Belfast, called Rockadoodle Do Belfast. Yeah, so we have our own hot sauce, which is also part of the VIP bundle. If
Yeah.
that's of
So,
interest to you.
well, no. I mean, there's a ton of great stuff that you can get if you get involved in the VIP bundle, or if you get an ID card, or any of this stuff. It just seems like it unlocks a lot of really cool features. So, I'm excited to see what else you guys come up with, within the next year or so. And I look forward to seeing you play, listening to the music, keeping track of albums 2 and 3, and one. Let's not leave that one out either. But thank you so much for your time,
Hey,
and
no
good
worries.
luck. Good luck with everything.
All right, thank
Take care.
you.